Look around. Grand Theft Auto isn't just a game anymore. With the monumental success of GTA 6, it is a cultural juggernaut, a billion-dollar empire, and arguably the most profitable entertainment franchise in human history. It has shaped open-world design, influenced movies, and defined a generation. But it almost never happened. Before the neon lights of Vice City, before the sprawling deserts of San Andreas, and long before the heists of Los Santos, Grand Theft Auto was a buggy, forgotten game about running over pedestrians. And the people who made it? They were a group of chaotic Scottish misfits who accidentally broke the rules of game design. Today, we are diving deep into David Kushner's explosive book, Jacked, the outlaw story of Grand Theft Auto. This isn't just a history of a video game. It's a gritty tale of corporate rebellion, ruthless legal warfare, a disbarred lawyer, and the ultimate clash
between free speech and moral panic. Grab a dodo, because we're taking the long way to Liberty City.
Our story begins in the mid-1990s in Dundee, Scotland. A developer named Dave Jones had just made a hit game called Lemmings. His studio, DMA Design, was tasked with creating a new game, a top-down 2D game called Race and Chase. You were either a bank robber or a cop. But during playtesting, the game was boring. It was too rigid. Until the programmers found a glitch. The AI for the police cars was bugged. Instead of just blocking the player, the cops were programmed with such aggressive pathfinding that they would violently ram the player's car, sending it flying and causing massive, chaotic explosions. The testers stopped playing the actual objectives and just started trying to cause as much destruction as possible. Dave Jones realized something profound. The glitch was the game. People didn't want to play by the rules, they wanted to break them. DMA scrapped the rigid design, leaned into the chaos, added the ability to run over pedestrians, and rebranded it as Grand Theft Auto. It was violent, darkly hilarious, and completely unapologetic.
It was a massive hit in Europe, but it caught the eye of a music executive in New York who saw something the rest of the gaming industry missed. Act 2. The Houser Brothers and the Birth of Rockstar. Enter Sam and Dan Houser. Growing up in London in a highly creative, theatrical household, the brothers were obsessed with music, film, and counterculture. By the late 90s, they were working for BMG Interactive, the video game division of a massive music label. The gaming industry at the time was obsessed with being family-friendly. Think Mario, think Sonic. But the Housers hated that. They viewed video games as a medium that was growing up, yet the content was stuck in childhood. When they saw GTA, they didn't see a cheap 2D game. They saw a playable, interactive grindhouse movie. They saw the satire, the dark humor, and the reflection of American consumerism. The Housers, along with their friend Terry Donovan, convinced BMG to buy the rights to GTA. They moved to New York and founded a new publishing label, Rockstar Games. Their vision was radical. They wanted to treat game developers like rock stars. They wanted to build games that were cinematic, mature, and unapologetically adult. But to do that, they needed to take their Scottish Misfits 2D game and thrust it into the third dimension.
Act 3. The 3D Revolution and the Crunch. The year is 2001. DMA Design, now renamed Rockstar North, is tasked with the impossible, making GTA fully 3D. David Kushner's book, Jacked, pulls no punches in describing the development of GTA 3. It was a technical nightmare. The team was working in a state of perpetual crunch, working 80 to 100-hour weeks, sleeping under desks, fueled by caffeine and sheer panic. The engine kept crashing. The physics were broken. But Sam Houser, acting as the visionary producer from New York, pushed them relentlessly. He demanded that the world feel alive. He wanted working traffic lights, pedestrians with daily routines, and a radio soundtrack that felt like a real, satirical slice of American culture. When GTA 3 launched in late 2001, it didn't just succeed, It altered the trajectory of the entire medium. It sold millions of copies in weeks. It proved that adults wanted
complex, morally ambiguous, open-world experiences. Rockstar was no longer just a game company. They were pop culture icons. But in America, when you become that big, that controversial, and that unapologetic, you attract the wolves. Act 4. The villain, the panic, and the lawsuits. Every Outlaw story needs a villain. And in Jacked, the antagonist is a Florida attorney named Jack Thompson. Thompson made it his life's mission to eradicate violent video games, and GTA was his ultimate white whale. Following real-world tragedies, Thompson bypassed logic and went straight for the jugular. He filed endless, frivolous lawsuits against Rockstar, Take-Two Interactive, Sony, and even Walmart. He didn't just want to sue them, he wanted to bankrupt them. He used shock tactics, sending cease and desist letters to journalists, trying to gag the press, and testifying before Congress alongside politicians like Joe Lieberman and Hillary Clinton, demanding the government regulate games like they regulated tobacco. Host. The climax of this moral panic was the infamous hot coffee scandal in 2005. A hidden, unfinished minigame was unlocked by modders in San Andreas. The media exploded. Politicians screamed. The ESRB re-rated the game adults only, which essentially meant death for the game in major retail stores. Take-Two had to recall millions of copies, losing tens of millions of dollars. Kushner details the immense psychological toll this took on Sam and Dan Houser. They were receiving death threats. Their families were harassed. The pressure was enough to break anyone. But the Housers had a secret weapon. They realized the controversy was their best marketing.
Rockstar refused to back down. They didn't apologize. They didn't censor their vision. They just kept making better, bigger, and more satirical games. And as for Jack Thompson, his relentless, unethical legal tactics eventually caught up with him. In 2008, after years of frivolous lawsuits and violating court orders, a federal judge in Florida permanently barred him from filing lawsuits in federal court, and the Florida bar officially disbarred him. The villain was defeated, not by a game character, but by the legal system he tried to manipulate. The moral panic faded because the culture shifted. The kids who played GTA 3 grew up. Society realized that playing a violent game didn't make you violent. In fact, Jacked shows how Rockstar elevated video games into high art. They hired incredible writers, actors, and musicians. They created worlds that held a mirror up to society, proving that games could tackle complex themes of greed, loyalty, and the dark side of the American dream.
David Kushner's Jacked is a masterclass in tech and gaming journalism. It's a reminder that the story behind the creation of Grand Theft Auto is just as wild, rebellious, and entertaining as the games themselves. It proves that sometimes the outlaws who break the rules are the exact people who change the world. Now, as we look at the record-breaking numbers of GTA 6 today, it's crazy to think it all started with a buggy police car in a Scottish office. I highly recommend picking up Jacked if you want the full, unfiltered story. What is your all-time favorite GTA game? And do you think the gaming industry would be as mature and respected today if Rockstar hadn't fought through the moral panic of the 2000s? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this deep dive,